welcome to the very first episode that you guys have been waiting for of Mindset Shift. My name is Yonela Gota, the Black Olive herself, and on this hot seat with me today for our very first pilot interview is Mr. Vincent Tshangana of Vinny's Grill Steakhouse. Mr. Vincent, thank you for joining us, and how are you today?
I'm awesomely blessed. Thank you for asking. And how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for the invite.
Straight to it, Mr. Vin. Tell me, a lot of people draw this idea about a person. They have different perceptions about who a person is based on the stages of their lives that they know them at. And, you know, with social media now playing its part in the background, people get to draw these different templates about who a person is from what they see on social media, on the social media pages. So for us right here today, because you're personally here, who would you say Mr. Vincent Tshangana is?
Vincent Tshangana was born, brought and slowly matured in the dusty streets of Engcobo. He raised by my late grandmother, who was born in 1912, Vincent is a people's person, kind, caring, and with a lot of humility and the hospitality. I'm actually a people's person. I love people. Yes. That's why I'm in the hospitality industry.
Okay.
It's all about people. I'm a people's person. Yes, that sweet, kind, and caring person.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me something. According to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, you employ 16 people, right, at Vinny's Steak House. And of those 16 people, with the challenges that COVID-19 has posed on businesses, you haven't laid off one person. How did you manage to actually pull through at a time where big brands and big franchises are closing down? You know, people are struggling to stay afloat, to keep their head above water.
Thank you for that question. If you read when you go to Vinny's Grill Steakhouse, it's the only restaurant that you will see that is written a journey through faith. It's by God's grace. Remember, whatever we do, it's only by God's grace, God's blessings. And firstly, yes, at Vinny's we have 16 employees, 2 casuals, which is some are students and needy people that we actually help as casuals. So that makes it 18, 19 with me. Okay. It's a small restaurant to have so many people, but we couldn't lay down anyone. Firstly, whatever business you do, location is the key.
Okay.
Our location is perfect. And secondly, we in the hospitality industry, in the restaurant where people have to eat.
Yes.
But what you do, make sure that the guests that you have are the guests that will be return guests. Yes. You speak about social media. Social media can build you. Social media can destroy you.
Exactly.
The word of mouth. So all the guests that goes in there, make sure that they tell friends, families, colleagues, people they know that have you been at Vinny's. And secondly, in Koloyetu, umama owner Link Pharmacy once said to me, "Mntanam, if ufuna uthakatha, iba ngokuqala shopping yakho, ube ngokugqibela uvala." That's what I do. Being hands-on plays a huge role. People are going there knowing that they're going to Vinny's, they will meet Vinny. And if you have to think of a restaurant, who wouldn't want to visit a chef's restaurant? So visibility, management visibility, and your own personal touch. That's what adds value. So you do table calls, you talk to each and every guest. So we ended up deciding rather be rich with people than being rich with money. When you're rich with people, your people will support you in times of need. Your people will constantly be there when you need them. That's what helped us. And secondly, during COVID-19, people will always say before, your eggs shouldn't be in one basket.
Exactly.
So COVID-19 taught us something.
So tell me, right on that very note, what measures did you put in place to remedy those setbacks that COVID-19 actually brought on the table? Because according to my understanding, you find that establishments like yours, you know, the lifeline mostly is the alcohol, because it's easier to have very high markups on it. So it was closed down. The restaurant business was closed down. So what other baskets did you actually put your eggs on?
Plus minus, yeah, you're right. Plus minus 150 restaurants, big ones. I'm talking about waterfront. I'm talking about in Joburg, the big hotels, hospitality industry really suffered. But firstly, you have to change your budget. You have your daily budget. You have your weekly and monthly targets that you want to reach. So we had to change those. And also, what we did was to make sure that with the budget that you have, you sit down with your staff. Remember, when you employ, you shouldn't employ people because of the CVs, attitude. And also you want people that takes ownership, responsible, reliable, and accountable, who takes accountability of the business, who understand that the falling and surviving of the business is in their hands as well. So we had to cut salaries as well. And at one stage we closed. When everyone was closed on that level 5. So we had to make sure that you give people stipends, but motivating staff, it's very important by giving them stipend when you close. But when you open again, quickly sit down with them, tell them where we are. We have rent, we have everything. But guys, this is what we have. It's a survival of the fittest. We just need to survive.
Yes. Okay, so apart from these intrinsic rewards, as we put it in other terms, in business terms, that you offer your staff, like the stipends and everything else, how do you motivate your staff to keep coming in at work? And because I've been to your place, I've been to your establishment, and you are right. I liked it when you actually referred to yourself as the 19th employee, because the people that know you, they've seen you pick up papers from the floor. I mean, not everybody does that. They've seen you sweep floors. You know, you don't treat your staff like you're actually above them, and which is a very good thing. It's servant leadership distilled all the way from the top to the very last step. So apart from the intrinsic rewards, how is it that you motivate your staff to show up and be at their A game all the time?
You lead by example. Push when they push, pull when they pull. They run, you cover for them. You run, they cover for you. Once you close the gap between the staff and the management in any company, you're gone for good. Once the management understand that they are employees as well, then you're gone for good. You don't want people that, yes, it's good to delegate, yes, you don't want micromanagement, but once you become part of them, it's different. And also, do your briefings, morning briefings, and your deep briefings after work. And you take positive criticism, read all the social media and everything, then you discuss it together. Also, constantly remind people how blessed we are. We saved our jobs. Because remember, staff are like kids. If you don't talk to them, remind them, they mustn't be flat-footed. And most restaurants and hotels or other people, they don't give people tips. Tip is to improve service, is to motivate the staff. So people know that if you serve a table, then the bill is 410, a guest says at 10%, that 41 rand is yours. It's not for Vincent. So you give their incentives, their tips. And there are small motivations that you empower them with skills, tools, and product knowledge. Because remember, at one stage, they all from OR Tambo region. They couldn't pronounce Gewürztraminer, wine, Haute Cabernet, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay. Such trainings, and also with the hope that if they do well, if you are employee of the month, you're standing a chance of visiting Cape Town. For Cape Town, you'll go in February for harvesting, distemming, pressing, fermentation, bottling, labeling, then blindfolding, wine tasting. So those incentives of visiting Cape Town, know that they will be, now when they come back, they will start, their mouth will be mouth-watering. You drink the wine before they drink it. So, and also it's a friendly reminder that we are a premium restaurant. They have to understand and celebrate how blessed they are.
Also, and I'm ashamed to say I also can't pronounce those wines myself. Moving right along, tell me something. What is your success mantra? What's that thing that you constantly remind yourself every morning? You know, that you utter to yourself every morning, be it a quote, be it just a mantra that you constantly remind yourself every single day and every moment that you feel the walls are closing in on you.
#Yenzekalento. That's what our uniform says, that's our slogan. If you look at our uniform, it's got 047, which is a home of legend, and then our slogan is #Yenzekalento. #Yenzekalento means that I always quote and says there's two types of people, the one who knows and they know that they know, and the one who doesn't know, they don't know that they don't know. When you know that it's happening, then it has to happen, then you must step up. Normally, I spend a lot of time with Ube Tusilem, which is Unduna. He believes in branding. He says once you become a brand, you understand that you are a brand. You have a responsibility to carry your brand. So as soon as I understood, I had a vision. I started my vision. It started happening. Once I had employees joining me, it became ours. Once we had client, the guest took it from us. It became the guest thing. So #this thing is happening. Vinny's Grill Steakhouse is happening. It's competing with the biggest restaurant. So what's happening now? We have to be on our toes constantly to make sure that it's happening.
I
Hashtag
cannot
Yenzeka,
contain
man.
my grill. It is such a mouthful that we have here. Thank you very much for that enlightenment. Now tell me, before COVID-19, because there's this trend and this misbelief that people have that business is easy. I don't know whether it's us, the business people, that romanticize the idea of business, or maybe they get the wrong information from the wrong sources, but people tend to have this belief that business is easy. So tell me something, before COVID-19 became a difficulty that we now live with and has become a part of our lives, what challenges does having a business of any kind, from any industry, from any doorstep, pose on the person actually venturing into business?
It's money, funding,
Resources.
capital, resources. Remember, we're not privileged enough to be born with a healthy bank account.
That's correct.
But I always says to people, when you want to start business or do any business, find something that you love, something that you have a passion for it, and then exhaust all your energy in it.
Okay.
Do it out of love, have a passion for it. I was supposed to open in May, in my birthday month, but I ended up open during the World Cup, Rugby World Cup, because I ran out of cash. And I tried to knock in each and every door, say, this is my collateral, this is what I've spent, I ran out of cash. Seeing is believing.
Yes.
If you have a vision, people don't support vision. So many people die with vision, with their vision. But what is important is that you need to do your homework, make sure that you choose a business that is in demand, that is needed out there. Then after that, be hands-on, be ready to soldier on, take it to the mud if you have to.
Yes.
But the challenge is for us and each and every black child is always funding and capital.
Resources.
Yeah, the resources are out there. And even if you need a typical example, an accountant is going to say 25,000 rand to draft your business plan.
Yeah.
So those are such challenges you're going through. But that's why I says, do your homework, but most of all, find something that you love. You have a passion for it. Exhaust all your energy in it.
Awesome. All right. So you spoke about doing your homework, which is something that every person venturing into business should make sure that they do. You have to do your research,
Yes.
research your competition, research market
Competitors,
gaps,
very
research
important.
everything.
Market research, yes.
Research, yes. Check if there are gaps, there's a need for what it is.
Mm.
Because I think the most problem that we actually have as people venturing into businesses, we create a mouse trap where there are no mice, right?
Exactly.
So now that person is already in business, right?
Mm.
And they failed during the COVID-19. I'm sure you've looked around and you know the weaknesses, most weaknesses that people have stumbled upon that caused them to be where they are now, which is a downfall of COVID-19.
Yes.
So what is the advice you want to give to those people to actually get back up? And what advice would you give to someone who wants to not just start a business, but who wants to get into the hospitality industry?
If you have the vision for what you wanted in life,
Yes.
you make it a mission
Okay.
to make sure that it happens.
Yes.
It's not about you failing. Failing, you learned something. It's not about how many times you failed. It's about how many times you stand up.
Yes.
But what is important is that about failing, it's what you've learned during that process.
Exactly.
Now, when you do it again, you will do it better. And
Yes.
the expectation, now you know the knowing, the things that you didn't know. And secondly, the most thing I always say to people, if you've ever been rich before, you can be rich again. If you had a business before, you can have it again. Because the only thing, like in the Bible, David used to do, he used to do introspection. Go back the memory lane. Look at how you started the business. How did you survive? And what made you fail? It's because you didn't expect COVID-19. And when the COVID came, this and this and this caught you. Now when you do it, you can do it better. A typical example is that if you were selling, you had a tuck shop at school. Now schools are coming into terms. They're not always there. The kids, if they used to be 500, now they're only 200.
Yeah.
So now you need to check with the time that you have, with the mobile caravans that you have, where else can you put it?
Okay.
Is there any construction around? Where can you put it? But if you've ever done a business before, you can do it again. But what is important, It's not about how you feel. And also, don't do it for people.
Exactly.
Don't worry about what people are going to say. Don't worry about people that they're going to laugh at you. No, dust yourself and keep working.
And stay away from Bazotina.
No, pull
That
up.
is a very
Pull
dangerous curve. Okay, so understanding that, because people often take for granted the type of employment that you have created, because I think people often miss the point that when you employ 10 people, you possibly, especially with us, with the black taxes, I'm sorry to refer to it as that, but that's what it is, with the black tax and everything, the expectations and the responsibilities that come with being employed as a person. I think people often take for granted the economic multipliers that come with it. That fact that when you multiply 10 people, it's mostly 50.
Yes.
You know, that person maybe feeds 5 people. Did you have any fears at some point with the COVID-19 that maybe there's going to be now food grabbed off the table of maybe one of your employees and their family and whoever it is that they're actually supporting?
I still get a heartbeat like the biggest one. I used to have goosebumps. I remember telling one of my friends, I can't remember who was, that I never knew I would be a father. You become a parent to your employees. They look up to you. They look in their faces. The WhatsApp they send you. Knowing that people from Umtata are not from here. They only survive by rent.
Yes.
Now you know that all these poor kids, they need to go back home. You give them money to go home. When they go home, they are expected, to bring something to eat. Normally they always send something on the table. Now they're not working. There's no salary. That means come the end of the month, they can't be the aunts they used to have. As you've said, in our culture, we feed 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people in the house.
Exactly.
I have young kids who studied education, who are waiting for their SACE qualifications. They're working as waiters. They're breadwinners. Now they look only to you. You're the only source of hope they have. It was scary, but it's only by grace of God.
By the grace of God.
Yes, we kept working, and as I've said, not to have eggs in one basket. It does help because you need to keep hustling. Yes, there were no vacancies. Yes, there were no jobs. Everything was closed. But to them, they look at Vinny knowing that our Father will make a plan.
And in our previous conversation, we've spoken about what you had to do during COVID-19, because I'm going back to my point where people often see you as this successful restaurant owner, you know, and they think it's all rosy and romantic and all, you know, lights and bulbs and everything and champagne popping all the time. So what I want to find out, and I'm hoping that you are comfortable with me bringing this to light, because we spoke about it yesterday.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm bringing it up
Oh,
is
you kiss and
I
tell.
I'm just that type.
Okay.
So I want people to know that there are certain things that even the successful people like you, that everyone looks up to and thinks they've reached the pinnacle of success, that those people have to roll all the way down back to and actually get their hands dirty in order for them to actually sustain their businesses. So what did you have to do?
I had to, at the end of the day, to supply toilets to the schools and maintain those toilets, which means you clean the toilets
so
every
basically
week.
you go all up in there.
I don't have a septic, schools don't have septic tanks.
Yeah.
And guess what? You get a call first to say there's these opportunities.
Yes.
Then you go and hustle. Then they ask you, do you have a truck? You say, yes. How many trucks do you have? How many do you need? That's the question you ask.
Exactly.
When they ask you, they say, no, we need 4 or 5. He says, okay, consider it done.
Yes.
Then they give you your sections that in Tsofimvaba, I'll be supplying certain schools, in Tumto, Samada, and others with toilets. You drive from Tata, get to in Tsofimvaba, hustle around, get the trucks, go and pick up the toilets, deliver the toilets at night, make sure that all the principals sign them, and then after that, get the labor. You can only get few people to work with you, but at the end of the day, the money you make there, it helps you to keep you going, because when you come back from supplying toilets and maintaining toilets, even if they're 15 or 20, that's a lot of money. You have to share it with your staff. When the government says it, you need to open again. Remember all the food and everything you had. If you didn't sell it, by the time the president announced that it was the first lockdown, that's the day my mom passed on. President announced at 7, my mom passed on at 7:30. So I had to drive to Cape Town and bury my mom. When I come back, I already gave all the food away to the staff and everything. So yes, I was privileged enough. Think out of the box and be a hustler. So
be willing to get your hands dirty.
You have
so
to
speak.
you have to remember one thing. Hard work doesn't kill.
No,
It doesn't kill. So I had to supply those toilets. I had to work at themselves. I had to drive at night. People seeing me on social media driving to Bloemfontein, driving to Joburg, driving to Pretoria, looking for toilets because they were not available. You have to go and get them. Drive with the truck back to Eastern Cape and make sure you do that. And you deliver. At the end of the day, here I am still standing.
And you, my friend, because of the grace of God, because I can see you're a very religious man, have survived all these hardships that have been posed by this pandemic onto business and people at large. Now, what is your favorite Bible scripture? The one oyaziyo ukuthi umoya wakho uyavuma nje.
Never vavum. Unduna, we share it together. It's Ndumiso 139.
Okay.
From verse 1 to verse 10. It says, even if I go down to the grave, Jesus is there because he died. If I go to heaven, Jesus is there because he's risen up during his resurrection. But the most beautiful verse, it's both from 1 to 10, because there's a time it says uThixo undingcingile ngemva nangaphambili. That means that we have a God that is protecting us back and front. What you see here, and you remember, Miles Monroe says we were created by the likeness and image of God. That's why there's a question, but the best one that I love most is verse 9. Ithi besingakhaphaya isandla sikaYehova nalapho uyakhona. So wherever I go, may God's hand be with me. Just like the Israelites, before they leave, they would wake up in the morning and says, they made it clear to God, we won't leave until we see your presence. They would wait for a cloud. Yile nto siXasithetha sithi la kuphuma ilanga uYehova uThixo sabe lilifu phezu kwami, la kutshona ilanga abe ligqange lomlilo andikhaphe. Undikhoyo uthi isandla sikaYehova sindifumbathile. When God's hands carrying you, you don't suffocate you. No, it carries and protects you. When God's hands is on top of you, it doesn't suppress you down, but it protects you. So
talk about putting your eggs in a lot of baskets when all, basket that's waiting for you. Maybe you should try another basket. And you know exactly which basket that I'm talking about. Because ever since the conversations that we've been having, this is how you have been. You get so passionate about your God. You get so passionate about the things that he's done for you. You get so passionate, and I can see in your eyes that you easily find comfort in the possibilities that he still has for you and your business.
Yes.
So it's very heartwarming, if I may put it like that. So tell me, I see that God is obviously one of the most, if not the most important thing in your life. What is the other most important thing in your life?
It's me, it's my tradition, it's me being Vincent Tshangana, a son of a soil, Inkwenkwe-Mgquba, Inkwenkwe-Ntaba, Ndiliqaba, laseNgcobo, ndizalwa liqaba. I'm proud of myself, I'm proud of my culture, I'm proud of me for being me.
Yes.
And yes, for me, I live through faith, because once you have faith, you restore hope. So once you have those two, faith and the hope, then you walk in the ring with 10 out of 10, knowing that hashtag yenzeka lento.
Oh my goodness.
When you have faith and hope, you believe in those ngabonwayo.
Exactly.
Non-existing things, but you believe they exist. So yes, I'm also proud of my. I'm deep culturally. People sees me wearing chef's jackets, sees me wearing suits and all of those, but I'm too deep when it comes to cultural boy.
Awesome. All right.
And I love for real.
So guys, we did promise you a multifaceted show that mixes everything from education to entertainment and everything else in between. So ngoku senza laa nto kuthiwa sitshintshe ikhasi
Yes.
siyashaflisha ngoku.
Babe siqhube imanyano sitshintshe igiya.
Sitshintshe igiya ngoku.
Andiyanoba
Singena ngo-reverse ngoku.
Washa, yabava abantu abagusheshe.
Singena ngo-reverse ngoku.
Oh.
Singena ngevosho ngoku.
No, nge-BM lo.
Tell me something. You just recently got engaged.
Yes.
On Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
Let me
you.
start by saying congratulations. So, take me through that day. What was going through your mind when you knew that you were going to be proposing to the love of your life?
Thank you. Remember, I'm in the hospitality.
Exactly.
So once you're in the hospitality, romance comes natural. You have humility, you have hospitality. We don't open door for you because the car is new or the relationship is new. No, it comes natural. I can't walk out before the lady walks out.
Oh, wow.
That's why on the day, we prepared it, and the idea was that it should be something that makes the lady happy.
Exactly.
It should be something that excites the lady. Remember, when you propose, every woman, I don't know, you tell us. I don't know why you love engagement. I don't know why you love rings so much. So when you propose, firstly, a woman will tremble, she will cry. Or when the lady sees a ring, they look at the ring, they're like, oh my God. So we needed to make it special. And remember, I've been around, I'm not getting young anymore, and I've been in the hospitality for more than 24 years. So it had to be perfect. I had to make sure that it's during the Valentine's Day. All my friends are there.
Okay.
All her friends are there.
Okay.
Other people are there.
Yes.
It's like you're humiliating her or you're celebrating love with her. I needed people to celebrate love with us because love is beautiful. And when you're in love, you start glowing.
Yes.
And you see the beauty. And the reason I needed to do that, I found a friend in her.
Okay.
I found a sister in her. I found someone that I was looking forward to go home to. I found someone that when I look at my phone, I smile before I answer it. I found Indwana Yam, Pinch Yam. So it's Coco Sam. So I felt like, you know what, let me show it. And I knew that get to know your partner's weak and strong points, likes and dislikes. I knew that all she needs is love. All she wants is to be loved.
On that note, there's been a wave and a stir that you guys have caused on social media.
Hey, we're trending.
You are trending.
Yeah, I need a bodyguard.
You are there, but
You need
because
the
they are
helicopter.
calling,
Need
you
the
understand?
helicopter. Yes,
So
yes.
there's a stir that you guys actually caused, and it's a bit on the negativity side because people are now bringing in demographics that really shouldn't
Yes.
be there, like age gaps and the time frame within
Yes.
which you guys have dated. Time served within the relationship and stuff like the gestures that you guys
Yes.
have already exchanged at such a short period of time. So that's social media for you. How are you handling that? How are you getting in front of it and making sure that you steer it according to your preferences?
Firstly, Nduna, I always quote him. He will say, when you're in a public, as a public figure, know when to respond and what to respond.
Exactly.
I always motivate people and say, your response in life is vital. If people tell me Venus is this, and then I cry and close Venus, then I'm a loser. When people said that post says a 20-year difference between Vincent, Ayanda, then it says they met in Jan, Feb, he proposed, March, he bought a car, April, that means traditionally
which was
introduced
just the weekend.
last weekend,
Yes,
traditionally
long way.
introduced it to the ancestors. I loved it. They didn't know one thing. I once always say to people, don't give away. When you respond, you're giving away what they don't know. People don't know you. They want to know you.
Keep your game card to
Those
yourself.
people, they're putting a glue. They're gluing us. Even if me and Mahani were going to fight, we will never fight. Because people are expecting us to break. Guess what? We will glue. Thank you. We love them. That's what they helped us on. By putting us together. That's the biggest glue. How blessed we are. Me and Mahani. That's how she's known. Me and Mahani. Oh, okay, now let's go back and say, if I was a girl, I met someone I'm truly blessed for, singing a song by Marvin Gaye. If your feeling moves you, let me groove, let's get it on. I will meet you today, today and make love to you today. Because my feeling moves you, you turning me on, then I'll make love to you on the same day. There's no time frame to say when would you sleep with your partner after you said yes to her. Guess what? I'm a boy and I've been around several times. If I love you or I got hooked on you, you busy playing hard to get, guess what? There will be other nomzamos and sisters and around. When I'll keep seeing you once a week and go and have sex with other people, come back to my honey, which is my honey, have sex until you're ready. Unfortunately, you might not give me what I want. I'll have sex after that, I disappear. So,
like, is this what
exactly, there's no time frame of waiting for. But if we meet today, we make love today because we love each other, we've got this passion and connection for one another. Guess what? Even if I want to cheat, I think about my baby who gave herself to me. I think about the trust that I'm about to betray after everything you've done for me. Imagine, then I cheat on you. So, and for my honey, people think it's a short space of time. They dummy. I said to you, when you know, you know that you know. When a man knows, he knows. When a man knows that he finally finds someone he's truly blessed for, he takes him. You take the queen, if we're playing chess, you say checkmate, and take the queen home. Ukwendela ka Isaac to Rebecca, he went, they sent he went to the river. When he got there, he says, can I have you? Can you have, please, give me some water. She replied and says, come with your camels. I will give you water and your camels. That's what my honey did. She never only saw me. I saw a woman in her. And then he engaged her right on the river. When she got home, she was asked, who is this man who engaged you? Let him come. That's the same day. And then they sitting in the house. We're still celebrating and enjoying our baby. She replied. He never replied. She replied and said, let me go to my man. It's the same day. She left. So she left Rebecca. So as me and my honey, I know, why would I be playing marbles without a hole? Why would I be counting stones while he has a diamond? So I saw someone whom I'm truly blessed for, someone who loves for real, someone who loves me as me. Even if she takes a Uber, she spends her own money. Today's girls, when they go home, they send you their problems and challenges and ask money for manicures and pedicures. She wouldn't do that. All she needed was love. Then I was like, don't waste time, Finny. Rope her in. Yes, and we celebrate love. We love each other. That's my honey. We love each other. We love each other so much.
Aya, I hope you're listening. I hope she's
That's
listening.
my honey.
I hope she's
She'll be listening.
watching. Just to wrap it up, it's been an awesome interview with you. I've enjoyed having you on my hot set. You're very refreshing. Your openness, there's something about it that is just so engaging. Just for closing, Jay, what does Vincent do for fun?
I drink wine, guys. There are so many quotes.
Unwastoko.
Yeah, no, I can't use stoko.
What do you drink?
But guys, there's always quotes about wines.
What is your favorite one?
Favorite wine
Quote
or quote?
about wine.
It's about good food and good wine with friends. So only good
That will bring
company.
together.
It's when you're having a good friends, real friends, but all together, guys, with good food and wine. And one of the reasons I love wine is that wine goes through hell. The type of a soil, the vines, the way they survive the soil, the heat, the rains, the storm. And also about wine is consistency. If you drank a wine in 2003, you can drink it again in 2017.
Yeah,
it will still taste the same. So when I'm bored, I cook. When I'm happy, I cook. When I'm stressed, I cook. When I'm with my honey, I cook. When I'm hosting people, I cook. But in between, I cook with wine. I drink wine. And one of the reasons I also quickly took my honey, she loves good wine. She loves good food.
A little bit of
Yes, as a chef and a hospitality industry background, you cannot date someone who doesn't understand food, who doesn't drink wine or a beer or something. What bora? Why is
Oh,
That's a problem.
Yeah,
No, it's a problem. It's all. I cook oxtail. We cook it today for tomorrow
Yeah.
with beautiful red wine. And in order to complete or complement that meal when we enjoy it, it's good glasses of wine.
Akira, we pick on your wine already. I'm already having it, but you drenching it in that glass of wine, aren't I?
Yeah, but I should introduce you to wine. Watch out.
You are very late.
She's gonna have a
I am
sit-up
never
at
going back.
We're gonna start her with wine.
Thank you very much for being
You
with
are
me
always
today.
welcome.
It was a very good interview.
Thank
you
you
very much for
for
responding
inviting
so
me.
honestly to my questions. Thank you
Yes.
so much, guys. There you have it, Mr. Vincent Tshangana of Vinny's Grill Steakhouse. That was part 1 of the launch episode. I've got another guest that is here who is going to be sitting on this hot seat with me, helping me pilot this launch episode off the ground. Further, Mr. Betusile Mcinga, an award-winning gospel artist. Stay tuned.